It's me, it's CGB, and today we are talking about the latest big change to the Pro Tour and the Pro Tour qualifiers that has the Magic Boomers losing their freaking minds. Let's get right to it. Yes, Play Magic on Twitter at PlayMTG has tweeted that the upcoming RCQ seasons will have a single seasonal format plus limited to lower the player barrier to entry. More details to come during the February 7th weekly MTG. So about a week away as I record this. And this is just a lot of non gibberish if you've joined Magic recently or never followed the Pro Tour or the Pro season. And I'll probably make a whole video talking about what the Pro circuit is, because it's something that's important to me, not because I'm trying to play on it anymore, but because I actually care about it. And it's something very special to me. And I'll probably make more videos about that as well, as it is very much something that ties me to the game of Magic the Gathering. So what is this tweet saying? What this tweet is saying is that the regional championship qualifiers, basically the Pro Tour qualifiers of old, like PTQs, you go to a tournament at your local store and you win a way to go play in a bigger tournament. In this case, they're called the regional championships. And then the regional championships feed the Pro Tour. So it's a few more steps, but basically the good old PTQ. They're saying that these will now be a single seasonal format. And what it was in the past when they brought it back was that the stores got to choose the format. So Pioneer, Modern, Standard. The stores could choose one of those or Limited. And the store would hold that event, and then that would feed the larger tournaments. The larger tournaments, like the RCs, the regional championships, would be set. Like the next one is set to be Standard no matter what. But you could qualify it playing these other formats. And the result of that was that a lot of people did Modern and Pioneer, and almost no Standard RCQs ever occurred. So this change is saying that Wizards, instead of giving the choice to the stores, is going to take it back, and Wizards is going to make the choice of what the season will be, what format the season will be. And the immediate response from the Magic community was, well, obviously they're going to push Standard. This is to try to revitalize Paper Standard because it seems like nobody cares about Paper Standard. I have a theory on why people don't care about Paper Standard anymore. It's because they can play all you can eat Standard on Magic Arena. But that is immediately what people jumped to, with a lot of people assuming that Modern was getting killed, because there's the problem. Wizards is propping up the format for these events with the format of their choice. It's Wizards' choice. And they, I think, assumed that Modern would be the first thing on Wizards' chopping block, especially with this line: lower the player barrier to entry. What's the least accessible format? What's the most expensive format on that list? It has to be Modern. Decks are I think I was looking at buying into Modern and there was like a $2,000 deck, something like that. Meanwhile, in Standard, you can play mono blue for $40. But anyway, lowering the player barrier to entry definitely implied that Modern was going to die. However, down here in the tweets, they did mention that the first season will be Pioneer, which they mention here. And then later down in the replies, don't know if I'll be able to find it on the spot, but they do say that the format after Pioneer is Modern. And yeah, you'll see Modern. I swear, Modern players would halt the rotation of the earth to play one more event with the other 20 Modern players in their area, so they can like combo off with Ad Nauseam or cast their Murktide Regent one more time. So yes, apparently the first season will be Pioneer and the second season will be Modern, which leads Standard like at least 3 seasons away. And yeah, I don't think that Wizards has any plans to kill Modern, because they are making money off Modern. They found a way to monetize Modern. It's called Modern Horizons. Both of those sets from the outside appear to have been incredibly successful, both based on the prices that the cards are holding, their staples in Commander and Modern. So I honestly truly do think that Modern is going to stick around. There are also sets that are being released that go directly to Modern, that don't go to the other formats. The Lord of the Rings set, Tales of Middle-earth, coming out later this year, is going to be one of those. And it makes a lot of sense why they would have a Modern Pro Tour qualifying season based around that. So they're not trying to kill Modern. That is immediately what most of the uproar seems due to. Why is this a good idea? This is 100% a good idea. This is a great change. Why are people upset about it? Because for a minute they felt like they had some kind of agency where their local store who knows them and cares about them was choosing the format that they like. And I'm sure that the people who go to their local stores and spend the most money felt like they had an influence on what their store played. And that's being taken away and given over to Wizards, and nobody likes feeling that way. However, this is the way it was in the past. So for everybody who quick history of the Pro Tour. There was this Pro Tour thing that had some changes, but a Pro Tour type structure that lasted about 20 years. Then the MPL showed up and killed it. Then the MPL was killed, and the last 5 years have been a pretty down time as nobody's really cared about Pro Tour or Pro Magic. Now they've brought back the Pro Tour. Now they're bringing back the qualifier seasons. And why is it a good thing that they're all the same format? It's particularly good for content. So I'm not going to lie, I sort of have a horse in the race, but I don't make pro content. So I don't think it's particularly good for my content. But it is definitely good for people who make pro-focused content, which is some of my favorite content to consume, and content that I've enjoyed for years, longer than like I've been watching YouTube videos of Magic. I've been listening to podcasts and reading articles about competitive play. And for the last year, since every store was doing whatever they wanted, it was like, what do we do with our articles? What do we do with our podcast? What format do we talk about? Do we talk about Modern? Do we talk about Pioneer? I don't know. What do people want us to talk about? Do we talk about Standard? Because a lot of people still play Arena and seem to care about Standard, but they aren't in the, nobody's doing the RCQs in Standard. What do we do? Well, now they know what to do. When Modern season approaches, those content creators can give you a serious rundown on Modern and what decks to look out for and things of that nature. Now, why is that tremendously important for the game and for lowering the player barrier to entry? I've picked on the boomers a little bit. I've made some sweeping generalizations about people who have played Magic for 20 plus years. Let's talk about the Magic Zoomers. Let's talk about the people coming to the game now. If they wanted to get into competitive play and they actually, made that journey into a game store, it's spooky in here, but they see a sign that says that there is an event this weekend. So they're like, okay, I need to get a deck. So they acquire a deck and they go home and they look up what to play, because this is how you do it now. If you are a Zoomer, you type long Google searches of exactly what you want. What to play in the next regional championship qualifier season. And the first thing that comes up, along with all the lists that comes up, it depends. It depends on what format it is. So now they have to Google, what is the Modern format? What is the Pioneer format? What is my local store's format? And now they have to learn about what the format is. And now they have to search what decks go in that format. And then they have to make sure that the articles from this year, not from 5 years ago, but nobody made an article this year because they didn't know that they were going to be playing that format. So Magic Zoomer, if they haven't already been interrupted by some pop-up notification on their phone reminding them to do their dailies on some disgusting mobile game, or if they didn't get distracted by a shiny Pokemon, they have already given up. Too many steps, they're gone. So getting new players into this game does require that if they want to go online and search what to play in the next RCQ season, there are people out there making content around this. The next RCQ season is Modern. Here are the top 10 decks in Modern and which one might be right for you. And that will get people into the game. And that's why you see on this thread, the content creators love it. Jim Davis, shout out to friend of the channel, Jim Davis, loves it. Getting everybody in the competitive community on the same page about what format they're playing for a period of time as they attempt to qualify for this thing is good for the game. And that is the main point of this video. And it's also going to be really fun when there is a standard RCQ season to look at the results of those tournaments and be able to say, oh, these are like the best decks in the format, and get to, work on some best of one versions for MTG Arena. So yeah, net decking, also fun. Anyway, that's the big news that is going on Play MTG Twitter and in competitive gaming. Let me know what you think, and if you will become more interested in competitive gaming with changes like this and the bringing back of the Pro Tour. I'll make more videos in the future about why I love the Pro Tour, why I love the competitive scene, and why the competitive scene is super important for the game. But for today, I wanted to cover this news as it popped up. I hope you're enjoying the videos here on the CovertGo2 channel. Thank you for watching. You're cool.